Full house today, unbelievable. Could you move over a tiny bit over there in order to help another few people come in? You okay, everybody take a seat. And we're in the middle of a mimer that we started where the mimer describes the idea of Rachel's beauty. Rachel referring to the Jewish people, and the quote from the Song of Songs where it says, Im lo Teid'i Lach, if you won't know, you won't have that. Hayafa banashim, the most beautiful amongst the women, that refers to the Jewish people. And the Torah describes beauty with two descriptions. Beauty of form, which refers to the limbs in the right proportion and the right place. And then there is Yifas Ma'eh, which is the beauty of look, which is the charm, the complexion, the charisma, all those things. And the pasuk says V'Rachel hoisei fas Torah fas mara, and we said that Rachel refers to a sheep, which refers to subjugation, and we explained in great length that subjugation doesn't mean that you're nothing, but subjugation means the ability to be in sync, the ability to be included, the ability not to be stuck in your own ego and be a part of something greater, and this something greater is being one with God. And that causes a person to be beautiful both in limbs. What does limbs mean? Limbs is what we discussed yesterday, and we even then tried to turn it into a shorts, but it was 1 minute and 6 seconds, so it didn't go on to the shorts. This is a good thing. Thank you for putting it on to the Instagram. Now, what does it mean, limbs? Limbs refers to Hashem's attributes. Hashem's attributes, that refers to intellect, emotions, and our task in this world is to be in sync with God. And that's the ultimate beauty. The ultimate beauty is that when my hands become a chariot for God's hands. So when I give tzedakah, I create the Yud Kei Vav Kei, as we said in the name of the Arizal. The Yud is the coin, the Hey is the five fingers, the Vav is the arm, and the Hey. But again, we're not talking about it in such an external way. That's the way, the metaphoric way that Kabbalah explains it. But really, if you learn a tiny bit deeper and you want to understand it, you'll see that every limb actually, that's the idea. There's a reason why the coin is the Yud, and why the lower Hey is the poor person's hand. But the major idea is not that it's just something cool, Yud Kei Vav Kei. The idea is that my hands then become a conduit to God's hands. My hands then become God's hands. I become in sync with the Creator when I do mitzvahs. And that is the meaning of being beautiful. Being beautiful means, because God says, let us make man in our image. What does it mean, let us make man in our image? It's not only God describing what he's doing, but rather God telling us what we are meant to do, what we ought to do. What are we meant to do? We're meant to be in his image, that our brain should understand and see eye to eye with his brain. Again, God doesn't have a brain, but our perspective, our brain should be in sync with his perspective. One of the psukim that talks about Mashiach says, Ayin Yiru. Mashiach is going to come. We're going to see eye to eye with God. What does it mean to see eye to eye with God? Just like the way God looks at the world, that's the way we're going to look at the world. Our hands should be a chariot to God's hands. Our heart, our compassion. We see it nowadays. Some people are very compassionate about, but everybody with their opinions. Let's not go into the politics over here, but their opinion, everyone is compassionate. The question is if you're compassionate to the same people that God is compassionate for, or you're compassionate. I saw that today they were very upset, a few people, that because there's so many people in the jails now, because we caught so many terrorists, so they say that they don't really get their rights in jail. Okay, I hear that. But the question is my compassion aligned with divine compassion? And so on and so forth. And that's the meaning of beautiful limbs. Beautiful limbs is the idea that everything is in its right size, in its right dose. I have the right love, I have the right gvura, I'm appalled by the things that God is appalled by, I am compassionate about the things that God is compassionate, I love the things that God loves. I am in sync with God. That is the idea of being beautiful of limbs, everything in the right size. I'm perfect, beautiful, no blemish. Everything about me is perfect. The question now is, what does it mean beautiful of look? What does it mean beautiful of look? If what could be more beautiful than beautiful of limbs? So I'm doing everything right. Not only I'm doing everything right, I am also my love, my fear, my compassion, my endurance, my hod, my yesod, my malchus, everything is aligned. What's still needed? Our midas included. Our midas is also one of the midas. So that's what we're going to talk today. What does it mean to be beautiful of look? That's the idea of our class today. You be perfect, but something is still missing. It look beautiful, but where's the charisma? Where's the charm? Where's the passion?
Where's the chem?
Where's the vitality? Everything is okay. Everything is okay. It's like, what's wrong? You take a picture, you look at that person, they check all the boxes. But where's your passion? Where's your charisma? What does charisma mean? What does charisma? Guys, let me ask you a question. I already asked this question in the first class that we didn't post on YouTube for obvious reasons. No, guys, if we're going to post everything on YouTube, people won't feel a need to come to yeshiva. So we have to have, like, from time to time, like, those best classes just delete off YouTube.
Come here.
To come to get like the inside juice. But what is missing? What is missing of a person that has everything on the checklist, everything is perfect, but in Hebrew it's called yavesh. Yavesh.
What was that? Dry.
Dry.
Dry?
Dry.
Yeah.
So first, let's do inside the mimer the idea of the first half, and then we're going to talk about the second half. So the first half again was the idea of beautiful of limbs, and the way to do that is through the rochel, being like a sheep, being subservient, being the ability to let go of your ego, and that's the way that you could actually make God dwell that you could cause God to dwell within you, within your limbs, just like the Mishkan. What is the Mishkan? The Mishkan is the even the floor of the Mishkan is a part of the Mishkan. And what is the floor? Floor is the idea that you step on the floor. Actually, one of the things that we say every day, and if people would realize what they're saying, maybe they would skip it. What do we say every day in the end of Shemona Esrei? The nafshi ka'afar lakoil tiyah. And may my soul be like dust, like dirt, in front of everyone. Nafshi ka'afar lakoil tiyah. Nowadays, we don't like these words, huh? What do you mean? I'm asking Hashem, so everybody should step on me? Huh? How exciting is that?
It comes right after we should trace after your mitzvah, I believe.
Right. That's where it is. But the idea is that when you're really like dust, no one feels a need to step on you. People only like to step on other people in order to get higher. But if you're like dirt, no one wants to step on you.
Where is it?
V'nafshi ka'afar lakol tiyeh, tach libi b'toratecha. Unbelievable. Hasidah took it out. Nah, okay. I thought like you have a Gen sitter, so Gen Z sitters would like, what? I should be like dust. No, I'm not meant to be your doormat.
You catch it?
Huh?
You just catch it? That was impressive.
Yeah. was official assassination. Let's do inside, guys. Yeah, ukadei. You have we're on page Chav Gimel in the Torah Ohr. Those of you in Yeshiva, it's page 11. You hear over there in the back, page 11. Let's go. Ukadei, in order, since we are finite beings and God is infinite, how do we get to become a dwelling place for God's midos, or God's emotions? For the 10 sfirot, a person has to be completely nullified in his existence to Hashem, to be like dust and inanimate, in relation to the infinite light of Hashem, and as we say every day in davening, v'nafshi, and my soul, ka'afar, like dirt, like koil tia, should be to everyone. That's the idea of being dirt that is on the floor of the tabernacle. What is the Alter Rebbe trying to say over here? That we're not trying to say that you're a nobody. We're not trying to say that you're just like a piece of doormat, everybody should step all over you. No. We're saying that you could become a tabernacle, that just like the floor, that's the basis and foundation of the whole tabernacle. You could be a conduit for holiness in the world. Just have to put aside your ego. And that's what we ask, we request every day. May my soul be like dust in front of you. In front of everyone. People shouldn't feel threatened by my ego. Do I need to explain this, or that's very simple? You understand, when people get into friction the whole time, it's two egos fighting. If you actually have no ego, or you move your ego aside, you'll see wonders. People will have no need to
last laugh and stuff like that.
No, last laugh is also some type of friction, some type of contention. We're saying if you really don't have an ego, people don't feel threatened by you. People don't, like, the people who say, hey, why are you looking at me, hey? Well, why are you looking at me?
That's ego?
What?
That's ego?
No, your ego incites that.
Yeah.
Exactly, your ego incites that. If you just go there. Those people also have a very inflated ego. They actually say in criminology, they teach that criminals literally have like a bigger space around them. So if you're not a criminal and I go close to you like this, you don't feel that I'm invading your space. But if you're a criminal, I'm over here, you already feel threatened. So it's two egos being clashing. But if you have no ego, it's very, very good. Where are we? Ukemaimer. You have it? The line that starts with the word lagabe? Ukemaimer. And as we say in davening, V'nav shia my soul kafar lakol tia, should be like dirt in front of everyone. That's the idea of the dirt that is on the bottom of the Mishkan. And through this, through what? Through moving aside your ego, Teid'i and nafshoy, the soul will be machoin, a habitat, umishkan, and a dwelling, le'oir ba'ir sav baruch hu, to be illuminated with the infinite light of God, lios b'pchinas tzalmeinu, to be in God's image, b'tziurai varim, in the form of the limbs, ahava, v'yira, machshava, dibur, v'maisa, thought, speech, and action, love, fear, things that God loves, things that God is appalled by. And that's the meaning of being beautiful of form. Sheyita arubam. There should be formed within them kol amidos, all the emotions, bishlei musam, completely, ubeyafyan, and in their beauty, kemoy shehem lamayla, just like they are above. That's the meaning of Rachel being beautiful of law of form. The idea of becoming beautiful of form in spirituality is that's through the idea of Rachel, that a sheep is silent in front of the people that shear her. So in order that a person should be able to be a dwelling and a conduit to God, he needs a lot of the Rachel to move your side, your ego. And Rachel represents the Malchus, which represents a sheep, which a sheep is silent in front of those that shear her. She doesn't try to kick, it's just a sheep. Good. Says the Alter Rebbe, guys, 2 lines from the bottom, the penultimate line. Says the Alter Rebbe, all of this, hu bechinas chitzonius. This is all external. Ahava, love, v'yira, and fear, umachshava, dibura maisa. Wow, guys, you don't even realize what a nuke the Alter Rebbe dropped over here.
These are all external?
Oh, I was waiting for someone to say it, but ask it. This is Leo on brain fog. Imagine that's why he asked it. It's all external. If he wouldn't be in brain fog, it will say, Rabbi, is this all external? Is this all external? We're talking about a person that has love, that has fear, that has thought, speech, and actions, all in sync with God, and you call it all external? Right? This is what you meant to say, right?
Yes.
And the answer is yes, my son. That's what Alter Rebbe is trying to say over here. Let's try to discuss this. What's more internal, what's more external? The charm of a person, the charisma of the person, or their form. But think about it. Don't think what you just learned in the Mayanot. I have a person over here. His nose is perfect. His eyes is perfect.
What's that?
Say it again.
So Oren says that form is external, charisma is internal. But may I try to differ with you? Obviously, we're very open-minded over here, so we have different opinions. But to a certain extent, what is my charisma? Charisma is something that is even more external. I mean, my nose, like nowadays we already have ways of changing my nose. You realize that it was changed to... No. Okay, just joking. But nowadays you can change, but usually even if you can change it, it's a part of me. What is my charisma? My charisma is something that I give off. So to a certain extent, my charisma is even more external than my actual limbs. No? No? Not really.
Well, before we're born, and Hashem picks our body and how we look. So mamash, that's already from the origin, and now when we're alive, we choose how to, or we develop our charisma and all these sort of things.
To a certain extent, it's like Leo says, right?
It's like a negotiation, right? In the first chapter, Tanya, how the soul's how the body's created.
Just you tissue over there, on the bottom over there, in the box. But obviously, thank you so much. But obviously, in Chassidus,
Wait, one more. Right here. Let's do that one.
in Chassidus, we always understand that both are right. You just have to understand how it works. How do we reconcile what Leo just said and what Oren said? Leo comes and says, "Listen, Leo brought in more deeper spiritual things, but without the deep spirituality that our soul chooses how to look. Let's keep it simple. Our body is who we are. like this is a part of me. My charisma is something I could develop. It's something that I give off. On the other hand, Oren also has a point. What is my body? My body is just my body is just some. How do you explain it? Your side of the argument.
That people can see who you are in terms of your body externally, but if they
want to look into deeper,
have to get to know you.
Exactly, beautiful. So, in order to reconcile what Aaron says with what Leo says, in order to make peace over here, we're very into peace. Both are right. And listen to this. This is the way Chassidus explains it. Your charisma is more external, but it stems from somewhere even deeper than your form. Your soul is expressed in your charm and charisma. Your body is more you can't really change it, it's very hard to change it. True. But there's sometimes something that is more external that stems from something so much deeper. Let's use a very practical example for that. They say that in interviews or in human communication, body language is really 75 to 80% of the communication.
Actually, I learned in college was like 90%.
Okay, so there's a machlokes aposkim over
Yeah,
here. There's a machlokes.
No, it's very specific. Yeah, it's like there's like
in Texas A&M, they claim that it's 90%. It makes my point even better.
Either way, it's majority.
Great, I'm just joking. It's fine, but it's a machlokes. Like most probably your updated latest studies. Body language is so much more powerful. Now I want to ask you something. I think this is such a good example because I don't understand. I told you what I think. I explained to you my thought process. And what? You're judging me about something that is completely not deliberate? What are you judging me by the fact that when I said it, I was sitting like this? How does that make sense? It wasn't deliberate. What I said at the interview, I prepared that for, you know how long I prepared that speech? You know how many websites I looked up, how to answer these questions? And you're judging me on something that is completely out of my control? What's going on? And it's so external. What is it? It's not my words, it's not my thought process. It's the fact that I was going like this.
It's everything in between.
It's the in between.
Everything in between, like your thoughts and what's actually the words actually coming out.
Okay, so what are you saying? Body language is more external or more internal?
Well, body language is also
It's more external, but where does it come from?
The internal.
It comes from somewhere much more internal. And that's why people listen to the body language over the words. Why?
Carry more meaning.
Because it's indeliberate.
Intentional.
Because it's not intentional.
No.
Because it's not intentional, what does that say? That this is really who you are. It's more external, but it comes from much deeper. You really want to say if you really want to see what a person thinks, don't listen to his words. Everybody could just say words.
Conscious behavior.
The subconscious behavior expresses so much more. And that is what this Mimer is trying to say. Hashem wants us to be Jewish, not only in our thought, speech, and action, our emotions. No. There's the you behind it. There's the vitality, there's your passion, It's not what you do, it's who you are. That's the difference. Your nose, your eyes, in the metaphor, is what you do. Even the emotions that you have. But God wants you. That's expressed in the charisma. That's expressed in the charm. That's expressed in your vitality. You could do everything, you could check off every list in the book. But where are you? There's a famous verse in Isaiah where God says, "Teid'i yir'asam oisi mitzvahs hanoshim mulumada." Their fear of me was by rote. So even in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the most basic halacha book in Judaism, what does it say over there? A person has to make sure not to do things out of rote. Some people just like, especially if you grow up from your whole life, you wake up, you put on film, I put on mezuzah. It's like life. Don't do anything for it. But you know what? People don't realize that pasuk doesn't only talk about. That pasuk doesn't even talk about actions. We're talking even about emotions. Vatei yir atamoti. Their fear of me was. What does it mean their fear of me was? It means that even their emotions were by rote. There's a certain emotion that you have before Rosh Hashanah, there's a certain emotion that you have before Yom Kippur. It's like everything is by rote. There are people that are so proper, so they express certain emotions on a birthday, and then certain emotions on an anniversary. It's like even the emotions become so plasticky. Where are you? Where are you? That's das. Im lo Teid'i Lach. Im lo Teid'i Lach. Where are you? What are you connected to? Not the things that you do, and even the emotional things that you do. Are you here? Are you invested? And that's something you can't fake. That's something you can't fake. It's like body language. You can't fake it. You can't fake it. Maybe nowadays they teach you how to fake body language, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Even people that are very good at body language, take Bibi Netanyahu. It will come out somewhere because it's not deliberate. It's something you choose. It's who you are. That means to be beautiful of look, beautiful of charm. And that level, obviously, also, you have to get it through Rachel. But what is this mimer really trying to say? Really, the mimer is really trying to say to develop a connection of who am I? I'm a Jew. Like, before what you do, not before. It shouldn't be before. I'm sorry, taking back. Delete backspace. I'm not taking away the word before. That's not the idea. The idea is, besides all the things that you do, who are you? Are you a goy doing Torah and mitzvahs? Or you are a Jew? This is who I am. What do you think about this idea, Aaron?
In general?
Yeah, it's like we want some practical examples. What does that mean? I have example in my head, but Chassidus doesn't say it clearly. So I want to hear, maybe someone over here has a good example. What does that mean practically? To develop you being a Jew, not only doing your stuff.
To internalize something. It's like, how to say?
But also internal. Also internal over here is called chitzonius. That's what Leo was shouting. What? Half of the year is called chitzonius. You remember how he was shouting before?
It's the thing that your body language shows it, but it's not just shown externally, like you said, when putting on tefillin, that everyone sees you do it, but you understand why you're putting on tefillin and where it's coming from, and it means something to you and it's powerful, and that can be seen like in your body language.
Yeah, that's very similar to what. Thank you. That's very similar to we're talking about internalizing. Anyone else has any other idea what this could mean?
I feel like the Amida is a very good example of this, like how you appear when you're davening and how you feel when you're davening can be an indicator either way. Meaning it's either you're just doing it by rote, we daven, you do.
But again, but even the feelings are called over here chitzonius. That's what I'm trying to say. We can't say just internalization or feeling because we are even feelings are a part of form. We're talking about something much deeper. We're talking about charisma. What is charisma? It takes years to develop charisma. Why is it so hard to develop charisma? Or to a certain extent, you can't even develop charisma. If a person will come and say, "Oh, develop charisma," you can't. You have to be a living person. You have to be a certain type of person. You could maybe work on being that type, and then it just expresses itself.
So we're guessing, are we saying that our internalization should come from our soul?
No, we're talking about something else beyond internalization. It's like when I ran the women's program, I was very against teaching tznius. And people used to ask me why, like for women, this is a very, very important thing. I said, I believe that the colors you're attracted to comes from a very deep place in you. But let's say, what's your favorite color? Blue. Could I convince you that it should be yellow?
No. That's actually my least favorite color.
Exactly. Yellow is his least favorite color. Could I convince you? But I believe that there's a reason. That there's a type of therapy like that they have like 300 colors, and the person over there, the therapist, asks you which color attracts you the most, the second, the third, the fourth, and then they write analysis on you. I walked in right away, chose a certain color. Says, "Well, you're a teacher, right?" So I believe the colors are connected to my psychology, but I can't change the color that I like. I could maybe change who I am, and then the color will come. You can't work on charisma. If you are someone, that will express itself in charisma. Also, you can be a psychopath and have charisma. Don't get me wrong. Charisma, I don't want to sound charisma is the thing. I'm just using charisma because it's something that you can't pinpoint. And you can't even work on it. You have to be it. So psychopaths have a certain charisma because they are it, because they're psychopaths. Yeah. My main point, I'm not going into that what charisma is, but I'm just trying to say why I use that as an example. Why it says about Esther that Esther was green. She didn't look good. But she had chut shel chesed. She had charm. That's why she was liked by everyone. Everybody thought, including Achashverosh, thought that she's beautiful. So what does that mean in our lives? I think that there's something called Jewish culture. And Jewish culture is not something that you could teach even. You can't teach Jewish culture. It's either you got it or you don't. And how do you get it? By being around people that live Judaism. That's the reason why Farbrengens are so important. What's the point of a Farbrengen rabbi? I'm wasting my time. It's not even something that I could write down afterwards and take notes. No one sits in a Farbrengen and takes notes. You know why you don't sit in a Farbrengen and take notes? Because Farbrengens are in order to develop that vitality. Not what you do, and it's not even what the notes you're taking. You could read a book. You don't have to go to a Farbrengen. But in a Farbrengen, that's where you pick up the vitality. You pick up the vibe. doesn't always work, but that's
Yeah. Making me have. It's always yelling.
like there's certain things that you can't even explain. How can you explain certain things? Like sometimes you have people asking, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? Yeah, for example, if we're talking about sneakers, yeah? What's wrong with this cloth? I'm just using an example, that's not relevant for the people sitting over here. So I can't explain it. So you go into in the Knesset, they have a rule, you can't come in jeans. What's wrong with jeans? Anything wrong with jeans?
Doesn't fit the image you're wanting to give you.
What's wrong? Who decided that this is casual, this is formal? There's certain things.
Culture.
Oh, it's culture. Now, culture is the most external thing, but it comes from a very deep place. So for some reason, everybody understands in the world that jeans are casual and not formal, and in the Knesset they want you to be formal. But when it comes to Yiddishkeit, certain things are not befitting for a chassid, are not befitting for a Jew. Now, how am I going to explain it to you? How am I going to convince you? That's just like I could explain to you why this is bad in the interview. Never sit in an interview. Let me try to explain this to you. Never sit in an interview like this. But be a tough crowd, yeah? I just want to try to explain why it's so hard to explain. Because when you sit like this, you look shut off. So be a tough crowd and ask me, now what's the connection? I'm not shut off. I'm just like more comfortable sitting like this. And I didn't even think when I was sitting like this. And it just comes naturally to me to sit like this. Right. I can't argue with you. There's no way, and I can't prove it to you that you were closed off. And I could even tell you, I was so open, I was never so open in my life, and I could repeat verbatim every word that you said in this interview. Can't argue. But people with experience in life know that people that sit like this are usually closed off. I don't know why. There's studies about it, but that's it. The same as when it comes to God, when it comes to Judaism. Certain things you can't explain, certain things you can't. And that's why sometimes it's so hard to explain what's wrong with this, what's wrong with that. Again, obviously, we have to keep Shulchan Aruch and we have to work on loving and fearing and everything. But over here in Chassidus, when we're talking about life and vitality, where we're talking about something deeper, what does Chassidus tell us? That God wants us to be both beautiful of look, both beautiful form and beautiful of look. What does that mean? It means become a Jew. Not only what doing Jewish, where are you? Where are you? I can't necessarily explain it. I can't. There's no way how I'll explain why this is good and why this is bad. I can't. What's wrong? There's a joke about a child from a very wealthy family, and the parents were really interested, trying to get the kid married, but the kid would botch it up. Every date would do something else stupid. But so every date, the father or someone in the family would do the research. What is the mistake that he did on that date? And they told him, listen, from now on, you don't do that. From now on, you don't do that. He had a list of 50 things. The kid also wants to get married, but he was missing something. The bulb, the light was on, no one was home. The elevator didn't get to the top floor. You know those expressions, yeah? So he had a list of a lot of prohibitions. You're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to do that. Great. Finally, he follows all the rules that they gave him, and they come and he gets engaged. And there's the L'chaim, the first celebration of the engagement. He's sitting over there by the front table, and people come and tell him l'chaim. On the table in front of him, there's a vase with a handle. Not a vase. I'm sorry.
Carafe was.
A jug, a pitcher with a nice crystal jug with some whiskey in it or some wine in it, and there's like a big handle. So when people come and give him mazel tov, he sticks in the handle, and he gives the mazel tov through the handle of the jug. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right away, the father of the girl says, no, something is wrong over here. He calls off the shidduch. He says, no way. He's like, this guy is not. And the whole family of the boy says, oh, whoa, we are ready. Finally, we're successful in getting you engaged. Why did you botch it up? So he says, listen, he never told me I'm not allowed to put in my hand and give mazel tov through the jug. What's the point of this joke? The point of the joke is there's certain things that if you're not there, you don't get it. And that's why it's important to fabring. That's why it's important to go to homes where you see how a Jewish Shabbos table looks. It's important to get the vibe. It's important to get the culture. There's a culture. Judaism doesn't just have laws. Judaism also has I once saw a group of people going to the beach 2 days before Rosh Hashanah. Does it say anywhere you're not allowed to go to the beach 2 days before Rosh Hashanah?
No.
It doesn't say anywhere. Just like it doesn't say anywhere that you're not allowed to come with a pom-pom ball on your nose to someone's chuppah. But when you're in touch, you understand that there's a certain vibe. There's a certain... Again, it's not about understanding. When I say the word understanding, I'm destroying this whole class. It's not about understanding. It's about living it. And Judaism is not only about the actions, it's about living that connection. I am a Jew, I am a chassid, and there's certain things that are just not befitting, and certain things that are befitting. There's a whole list written by the Rebbe Maharash when he was a child, I think. He wrote like a whole list. For a chassid, it's not befitting to be in a fight with other people. For a chassid, it's befitting to make sure to always get along with everyone. It's not befitting. A whole list of befitting and not befitting. In Hebrew, it's called mat'im. But in Yiddish, the words are sepastisht. Anyone ever heard this expression? Espastisht. It's not befitting. And the typical question that people always ask, what is this like new category? It's befitting or not befitting? Is it prohibited or permitted? Prohibited or permitted is just like this child over there asking, what? Is there really a prohibition of sticking in your hands through the handle of the vase? Really? There's a prohibition like that? I never heard of that prohibition. Oh, what's wrong? That's the Eibishter wants us. The Eibishter wants us. Not only our actions, not even only our emotions. The you in this whole story. How many times we talk to a person, the person does everything right, and the person is even sitting and talking to you and everything, but you see he's not there. The guy is elsewhere. And that's the charisma, that's the vitality, that's the charm, that's the das. Where are you? Are you in this, or you're elsewhere? L'chaim. So these are things you can't even explain. But that's why we're learning Chassidus. Like things that are halacha, we learn halacha class. But what we're talking about beauty, we're talking about charm, we're talking about, let's see inside. All this is external. Then that's love and fear. But internal, that's the will of the heart. The will of the heart, the will of the heart, the passion, desire. Shehu b'chinas ha'orah, that is a glimmer b'pnimiyus soyer insav baruch hu, from the internal of the infinite light of God, blessed be He, the less machshavet tfisa beh, that there's no thought that could grasp Him. Uba'orah zu misham, and with this glimmer from that level, from the internal of the blessed orange of the infinite light, Knesset Yisrael, to the Jewish people, Nikra Yefas Mara, this is called, how's this called? Beauty of look. Shahu Ziv Aklaster Panim, that is the glimmer, the shine of the face. Shalochem Nikra B'Shem Panim, that's why it's called Panim. Shapnimius Misgalboy, because even though that it's external, the internal is it. Keloi, so havu panav. I don't know, now we don't have it, but back in the day, when a person would become embarrassed, he would become red. Would become white. Nowadays people become red. But over here it says when people would be happy, their face would become yellow. Tzahavu. Tzahov is yellow. Tzahavu panav. So now, do you have any control on your face becoming yellow? No. But that's the idea. When you love what you do, when you do it with the passion, it's there. The who Indian because of your Hashem panav elecha. God will shine His face to you every day in Birkus Kahanim. What do we say? God will shine His face to you. What does it mean, shine? That's the charisma. That's the. I once heard that there was a big rabbi once. The Mishnah says that you have to accept everyone with a nice face. That he used to train himself every day 5 minutes in front of a mirror to have a nice smile to greet people. Yeah? So why does everybody, why are you all laughing at it? It's because if you're really happy to see the person, it's going to be obvious and apparent. If you're not happy, you could train in front of a mirror for how long you want. It's plastic. That's the vart over here. And that's what it means. In order for the Jewish people to get that level, that is also because of the level of Rachel. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everyone. Why is everybody so quiet? Like, what?
Yeah, very early.
Because it's very early. Okay. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everyone. Which idea that we said today could make it